Hi folks, just doing a quick dev update here. We finished 1 week. I made a level. I got the old ESJ code up and running with ESJ2, the engine. So I have a whole bunch of, for those of you who are programmers, I have a whole bunch of new code, but I'm also using and accessing inside a state machine a lot of old code, and then I'll port that over as we go through development. And it's just so that I don't have to start from scratch, because of course week 1 we still want all of the toys and monsters and whatever that are in a level. So this week I made a level. I also made a new player ability, which took me about 2 or 3 days. I did some admin work for the business, and I made the engine work, and there was a bunch of problems and bugs with that. This next week coming up, my plan is to make a new level. To fix a sound bug that keeps popping up. It's very random. Please tell me, report it if you experience it. It's like a slowdown and with some static pops. It has to do with the music loading from memory wrong. So I'm doing some research into that. I think I can stream MP3s, whereas currently I'm decompressing .ogs. So I'll look into that. I have some boring business admin stuff to do. I have to get a new TIN, which is a tax identification number for America. I'm Canadian, and so we need to report under the Patreon. I need to file so that they withhold the taxes correctly. So boring business stuff, basically. There's a bunch of business paperwork I have to do right now, and then also, along with the new level, I'm going to make an options screen and everything that comes with that. So basically custom controls. I want you guys to be able to use your controllers. I'll definitely ask for a poll for a list of, hey, what controllers do guys use, or gals, and then also just volume, music, screen size, that sort of thing. And if I have time, because of course this is already sounding like about 2 weeks work to me, if I have time, I'd like to add ghosts and a timer. It's probably only about a day's work, maybe 2. Anyway, if I don't get to that, I'll get to that next week. Ghosts and speedrun time is definitely a high priority for me. I want to have that in as soon as possible. But also, of course, I'm weighing it against new levels every week, and also just having an options menu, being able to set your controls, etc. I posted some level design sketches for new worlds and bosses that I'm playing around with. Like, I need to pick probably 3. I'm really thinking Santa Claus and an ice and snow world for World 1. I'm going to play with, in the next month or so, a snowboard ability that's kind of like if you've played Hot Sticky Mess. There's that one level where the player snowboards. I've got some cool ideas for crouching and doing flips and stuff as a mechanic. And then this next week's level will probably be very super hard. It should follow on the level I made last week, and it should be just every possible contorted way of using the air sword in as brutally unfair a way as possible. I also want to do one of those levels, those levels from Mario where there's a platform and you have to like hop onto and off of the platform throughout the entire level. There's just one big platform. I want to do one of those but with a moving bounce pad, and then I want to have it yell stuff at you. Like maybe there can be an overall storyline, or it can just get randomly more rude, or I don't know, I'll play with it. So that's two level concepts that are coming up in the next week or 2. I'll also probably hop around. I definitely won't be designing the game linearly front to back. I have a couple of interesting like super chill levels, which will be interesting ones because they won't be super hard, but they'll just be kind of cool to write the jokes for. And then I also want to play with some new art styles. I definitely want a new player sprite in as soon as possible. Using the old player sprite, the old death explosion, the old checkpoint. Like, there's a ton of old pixel art that I want to replace, but I don't want to rip it all out right now because I wouldn't be able to have a level done for you guys this week. So, yeah, I'm just going to replace pixel art as I go along, and it should retroactively apply to the levels as we go. Yeah. So there's a quick plan of a recap of last week and a plan of the next coming week. I have a couple other things that'll pop up, and of course, even the best laid plans never go quite perfectly. The other thing I'm going to be doing that's fairly minor, but I'm going to be adjusting the Patreon rewards very minorly. There was one which I've already cut, which was a second Twitter account that posts in-progress screenshots. And I'd never run a Patreon before, so I didn't actually realize that I could just post the screenshots in Patreon easily, and I don't need to maintain an entire second Twitter account. Basically, I'm just going to be tweaking the rewards because some of the stuff I can do more easily than I thought, and other stuff is harder than I thought, and so I would like to adjust it so that I spend as much time as possible working on the game. yeah, and not maintaining secondary Twitter accounts and so on. The behind-the-scenes dev videos, actually, I was planning to do a once a week, like scripted 20-minute like recap and plan forward. But actually, I'm kind of, I don't know if you guys hate this. You should post underneath. But I'm kind of liking these spur of the moment like video podcast things I'm doing with my phone, because I can just pick a time when the lighting is good and when the mood is struck and when I want to talk about some dev problem, and I can